Red man's your neighbor, call it behavior. Maya climbing up slippery hills, 2 steps ahead of you, punctures in your neck, hovering just above your bed, hovering just above your bed. I was bitten, must have been the devil. He was just plain mean. A little vicious, reminded me of his presence and let me know he's awaiting home. Welcome to another horrid, terrible, despicable, abominable, socially unacceptable, and awkward episode of The Apocalypse. And congratulations for choosing The Apocalypse, by the way. And since you have unwisely chosen The Apocalypse, you are in urgent need of a guide. Unfortunately for me, I happen to be that guide, your humble guide, Nicholas. So good to see you, bloody gain. It appears Leon's name is on the list too. Leon too. What about you, Dad? No, Dad. What about you? For remember, when Leon did not get his EV tax credits and he felt the foot of the Reich he paid for up his ass, kicking him out, he decided to put Donnie on blast regarding the Epstein thing. Remember that? Remember, Leon said they won't release the files because Donnie is all over the files. But Leon, it appears, has possibly made a trip to the island. Not a surprise to me at all. But when there's evidence in black and white, much more damning, wouldn't you say? I certainly would. Now, let us begin. I woke up to this. I woke up very late. For I hate mornings. I fucking despise them. Anyway, I woke up to this Eric Swalwell posting this. Trump outs Leon scum as being in Epstein files. Revenge for Elon outing Trump? Leon, what do you know about Trump's involvement? Indeed, Leon. What about Leon's involvement? And I assumed what I was looking at once I read it was an Epstein itinerary. And that's indeed what it turned out to be. You see, I hadn't had the whole story yet. I had just woken up, still had sleep in my eyes. And it just, it looks like this. And it's an itinerary for Jeff Epstein, that's all. Went back when he was alive. He's a pimp, he's got a lot of clients to meet and talk to and, let's sample the merchandise. Friday, December 5th, 2014 is this? Tentative breakfast party with Bill Gates. Levine, Ron Barron, Josh Harris, awaiting. I don't even know what that fucking means. invited, not Levine, I'm sorry, my eyes, and this is blurry, invited Ron Barron and Josh Harris awaiting. Forgive me. Getting old. Saturday, December 6, 2014, Zorro. Reminder, Gregory Richese on holiday in Aruba, December 6th to 13th. Reminder, Leon Scum to Island, December 6th. Is this still happening? Yeah. Indeed, Leon. Did it happen? I'm sure you'll say no. You'll never admit, yeah. Oh, I went there, I got a massage, but I kept my trousers on. Like Dershowitz said, sure, buddy. Sure. Sunday, December 7, 2014, just says Zorro. There's TBD depart PB. TBD arrive San Francisco. I don't know what that means. I'm tired. I'm old. I'm broken down. I'm getting my cane next week. So, I'm just relaying it to you, honestly. I never give opinions on things, do I? I leave it all up to you. No, I don't, but anyway. Petey Hegseth. This guy, Ben Hodges, decides to put up a post. On the 26th, which I assume is today, I don't even know what fucking day it is. They all blur together. It's an endless, nightmare. July 1935, German generals were called to a surprise assembly in Berlin and informed that their previous oath to the Constitution was void, that they would be required to swear a personal oath to the Fuhrer. Most generals took the new oath to protect their job, indeed, and that's exactly what I expect to happen this time. No one wants to lose their job, everything they've worked for. They would rather just go along. That's why America's over. Reason 11 million. Okay? You've seen it your entire life around when you were a kid, when you were a teenager, when you're an adult, people out for they self. Son. And if it comes down to, you quitting your job on principle, there's very few human beings that will ever do that in their life. Ever. They're a rare breed, son. So what's that make the rest? Go-alongs. And we're all guilty of it at times in our life, aren't we? So Petey Hegseth decides to comment on that at the top here. Cool story, General. No, it ain't a story, and Petey's not slick. He thinks he's slick. In between glasses of gin. He ain't slick. I can tell by his reaction, Donnie's... Again, this is a right, just like 1933. They believe it. They turned it into a religion, son. I'm telling you. This moment is not nothing. You don't summon every general from across the earth that we command, or the right commands, to be in a room with Petey Hegseth. You ain't got something real important to say. If that ain't a real moment. And it's going to be this. What happened in Germany? They're reliving all kinds of things that happened in that First Reich. I don't know if you noticed that. I sure as fuck did. This is one of them. That's where they got the playbook from, son. No arguments, no debates. Not theory, not conspiracy. You saw the Nazi salute on Inauguration Day. That should have told every fucking human what to expect and what they believe. You saw Grok turn into Mecha Hitler, and he will worship Hitler as God if he worshipped anything. You don't see the camps. You don't see the military on your streets about to be deployed to 2 more cities. You didn't see the Reich just blew up 4 boats when we're not at war with anyone? And they laugh about it? Did you see the masked men with machine guns kidnapping people? So I know the comparisons to the Nazis are crazy, right? Even with the Nazi salute on Inauguration Day, they still say it, son. I'm telling you a story, son. Listen. So Petey thinks he's slick. He'll just play this off. No, you're not playing nothing off. I see through all their bullshit. While everyone's debating, wasting their goddamn time, quoting the law, all of it. I see through every word. They're not smart. They're not clever. They wear their emotions and their agendas on their sleeve. And what they don't wear on their sleeve, they say fucking out loud. So it ain't real hard to interpret all this. None of it's normal and everyone knows it. Yet we still have human beings like parrots out there. Oh, it's just politics. It's just this. It's just that. It's just... No. The end of all things, son, starting with America. Rome fell. All the empires fell, son. Bunch of people called rubes and CEOs took this empire for granted. Thought they could run with any con man. They thought they could take every dollar and it would still work. It won't. Your plan will fail in the end. You understand that? How did Nazi Germany work out, son? Not so well, right? For the Nazis, I mean. So are you going along now? How do you think it's going to work out for you and this empire that you're selling out by the fucking second? And you know who I'm talking to. Not well, right? Got a big 12 years out of Hitler. All the smart people that went along at the top. They got a big 12 years before it all crumbled into fucking ash. Wonder how long you'll get. I'll be dead. I won't see it. So Petey trying to play this off as if this is not what's going to happen at that meeting. They're going to let everybody know the vision for a little bit, what they need to know right now, to let them know that they may be doing some unsavory things with the military. Are you going to go along? Or do you want to leave right now and forfeit everything that you've worked for your whole life? 9.9 out of 10 will go along. We all know it. We've watched it our entire life. Donnie here advising you ladies out there medically. You know, Donnie, because he's in great shape, he's not in diapers and an orange face with a hard comb over, obese, with lifts and a girdle and McDonald's and Adderall. Obviously, he wants Tylenol to pay him some fucking money, the people that make Tylenol. Pregnant women, don't use Tylenol unless absolutely necessary. Don't give Tylenol to your young child for virtually any reason. Break up the MMR shot into 3 totally separate shots, not mixed. Take chickenpox shots separate. Take hepatitis B at 12 years old or older. Importantly, take vaccine in 5 separate medical visits. Okay, is he a doctor? And that's in all caps, too. So, you know, ladies out there, take that very seriously. Donnie's yelling it. Unbelievable. I don't know what this thing about with Tylenol is. I'm assuming he just wants them to pay him off, like to shut up and stop harassing their company and stop telling people not to use their product. I'm amazed they haven't sued yet. I guess they're afraid to. But I don't understand where all this guidance all of a sudden comes from. What are they basing this on besides fucking shitty conspiracy theory type studies that always get proven shitty? I don't know what's up with this. There's always an agenda behind things like this, and there's a reason why he's naming Tylenol. I assume he wants the makers to, you know, show him love, pay him tribute, And once you do that, Donnie's never going to stop coming to your door. So good luck with that, everyone. That's bent the knee already. And paid him tribute. Again, this came from Oversight Dems, has some interesting names in it. 7 a.m. breakfast with Steve Bannon. That's Feb 16th, 2019. Again, this is Epstein's itinerary that was released today. More names. 7 a.m. breakfast with Steve Bannon, Feb 16, 2019. Saturday, December 6, 2014. I already read you that one. Leon Scum and Gregory Riche, who I don't know who that is. 12 p.m. lunch with Peter Thale. I'm not sure what the date is for that one. Maybe that's the 14th, or excuse me, maybe that's December 6, 2014 too. I don't know. December 6th, Leon Scum to the island. 12 p.m. lunch with... So you got Thale, Bannon, and Leon all tied to Epstein now. We already knew they were. Leon kind of admitted he's hung out. Now we have pretty solid evidence, unless Leon says, oh, I never went, I canceled. That's malarkey. I'm thinking he went. Personally, but, who knows? Regardless of if he went, an appointment was made. That's enough for me. And, the appointments we find out about, the video we see, the meetings we find out about, well, that means there's 100 others that we don't know about. Those are just the ones we know about, that somehow came to light publicly. Like this. This wasn't meant to see the light of day. Now it has. So Leon, Bannon, and Greasy Pete, we knew Greasy Pete was tied. We knew Leon was tied. And I think this meeting with Bannon was even known about for a while. But now we're seeing it in black and white straight from the itinerary. Can't be denied anymore. If these are legit, and I assume they are. Greasy Pete, Donnie, Steve Bannon, Leon Scum, all hanging with Jeffy. Donnie was his best friend for a good span. What do you guys call your party again? The party of family values? And Christianity and law and order, convicted felon you voted for. So much for law and order, there goes that. And he's the Antichrist, so much for Christianity. And they all have serious ties to Epstein, so much for family values, son. Fuck you got left. But lies and hypocrisy, and evil, and Antichrist. Until your farm's going under. Then liberal policies like handouts are cool, right? Right. House Oversight Committee Dems released new info about the third batch of documents it received from the Epstein estate. Among the findings, according to Dem press release, within documents of Epstein's schedule, there is evidence that Thale and Bannon had meetings with Epstein, as well as evidence of a pending trip by Leon Scum to Epstein's island. Oof. Oof. Why is the House Oversight Committee Dems releasing this? Why isn't Donnie releasing it, Rubes? Why isn't Miss Bondi releasing it, Rubes? Why are the evil liberals releasing it? They even released the part with Bill's name, too. No, the parties aren't the same, son. Here's Donnie before heading off to golf today. And, the government's about to shut down because of, they got to agree on a budget. This happens every so often when we come to, oh my God, it's going to shut down in a month. Now it's about to shut down within days. What's Donnie doing? He told the Democrats to fuck off. I don't want to negotiate. And he went to go golf. That's what Donnie's doing. There's no debating that, arguing that. There's no angles or ways to spin that. It's just what happened. They want to have transgender for everybody. These people are crazy, the Democrats. So if it has to shut down, it'll have to shut down. But they're the ones that are shutting down the government. No, Donnie's the one that said, fuck off. Mike Johnson's the one that shut Congress down. And Donnie went to go golf. So no, it ain't the Democrats. And the Democrats are not in power, son. They want to have transgender for everybody. As Donnie sinks further and further into dementia, he will remember the basic principles of Rubery and MAGA. And you'll just hear the word come out, and it doesn't have to be in a sentence that makes sense. The Rubes don't need that. They never did. And Donnie knows that, and so does the Reich and everyone in the right-wing grift machine. Just get the word transgender in there. That's all you got to do. The sentence does not have to make sense. They want to have transgender for everyone. That does not make sense. That is a demented old man in poor health, mentally and physically, who knows the basic principles of Rubery. Just say the word, the trigger words, transgender, Democrat, liberal, socialist, communist, and they'll hand your country over and hold the Bible upside down. You got them. Over. Say you're going to lock up Soros and Hillary because Alex Jones told them they're bad people. Over. They will vote for you, have them for life. They are that malleable. They are that unintelligent. And some of them are very biased. One of the core tenets of right-wing politics in this country and across many parts of the world is racism. And everyone knows it. That's why the Klan votes are every election. Every election, son. And I don't want to talk about what the parties were 150 years ago. With your disingenuous ass, whoever you is. I've seen the argument a million times. We all know that doesn't apply to today. They want to have transgender for everyone. That's, again, reason 11, 12, 13 million your country is over. Because you, as a rube, hear that, and it does something in your brain. And it makes you think this guy's on your team, and you're on his team. And now you're just a fucking mark from second one, son. This is the purest grifter I've ever seen. Mind on nothing but the grift 24 hours a day and vengeance. That's about it. So sad that that's all it takes is for a demented old 80-year-old in a diaper to say things like, they want transgender for everyone. The Rubes go, yeah, the liberals do, yeah. The KGB knew what idiots to target in this nation, boy. They did a great fucking job. And their asset, Donnie Krasnov, he was the perfect, I don't even know what to call it, the perfect idol of greed, of scumbaggery, of lies, of hypocrisy, of poor morality, of no character, for the rubes that are just like him. Something they could identify with. A loser who files bankruptcy as if it's going out of fucking style until he found the presidential grift, which he was trying to figure out since the early 80s. How to get you fucking idiots to give him the fucking keys. You did it twice, son. Oof. Proud imbeciles, boy. You revel You revel in your, I don't even know what to call it, imbecility. Twice you gave the ultimate con man the key so he could grift you blind. Wow. I do not like this at all. And I've been telling you, I've been paying attention to what's been going on in the UK, society-wise, what the government's trying to impose. Digital ID. Oh, wow, what are they going to use that for? Maybe for the new surveillance system that's going to be everywhere. And that'll be that little icon that pops up when you're walking down the street and they got a camera on you. Maybe that's what the digital ID's for. Just a thought. Starmer says it's for jobs, for the right to work. Well, they hate immigrants in Britain, a lot of people. They're tired of it. I've seen the comments. I'm not saying the majority, but there's quite the sentiment, even with customs. I had to go there once. And I got the treatment because what they're looking out for and what they've been looking out for since all those years ago when I went there. Are you coming there to live and work? If you are, we're going to put you on a plane. If we suspect that's what you're trying to do, we're going to put you on a plane back. Same kind of thing that's been going on here, this anti-immigrant sentiment. And I'm talking about people who, basically do it the wrong way. They just go there, they move in with someone, they start working, they get some, fake papers, whatever. So the same kind of aggression and animosity towards the immigrant there, we have here as well. So there's that attitude which helps get shit like this going. That's not what this is fucking for. This ain't 'cause of immigration. Oh no, son. Let's read it quickly. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer announces digital IDs will be mandatory for the right to work. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have a digital ID. It's as simple as that. How do you get around that? Having a digital ID, I didn't read all the details of what that entails, but I think I get the drift. By the dystopian nightmare we're in, by all the contracts being given by the United Kingdom, I just talked about one last week. The UK gave Greasy Pete, Palantir, a contract, just like we did. Shit ton of money. So when you're wondering, when you start seeing more cameras, more surveillance, your icon on computer screens, you can thank Greasy Pete and Palantir and the Reich for that. In England, you can thank your government for it. Because they're going to institute a lot of this stuff the United States does. I have a feeling England, the UK will be one of the first hand in hand with the US with the real heavy surveillance of everyone, drone policing, digital currency, digital ID. I don't like this at all. We getting into some territory here, son. Could the mark be the digital ID? This one caught me off guard a little bit. I know RFK Jr. talked about he wants a wearable in 4 years. I guarantee that has something to do with the story, son. A wearable. Maybe they're looking at it as, we don't want to actually put something on people. Let's just have them buy a watch type device, call it a wearable. Wants everyone within 4 years to have that. When I heard that, I thought to myself, well, that's probably part of the mark, the image the currency, the whole thing. Basically three things: a mark, a cashless currency, which is already in existence, and we will be switched to it. And what was the third thing? I can't remember now. Oh, a mark, a currency, an image, excuse me. The image will be AI, of course. What else would it be, son? What else has life and can go forth and do things for people? Only AI. Only in this time. AI was not advanced enough until this moment. And they're advancing it more and more every day. It's ready now to do a lot of things. It's not perfect. That will be the image, and it's obvious. Dugan talked about it before the election in his manifesto. AI is the future. We must mold it in our image. Trumpo-futurism. Blah, blah, fucking blah. That's their plan. How does digital ID fit into that? I don't know yet. And I'm wondering, could this thing be the mark? I don't know. And I don't want to take it, so. But again, I do know you can't be tricked into it. Can't be forced into it. You got to make a choice. Doesn't mean you won't face persecution for not going along. Lemmings don't like a lemming that doesn't go along, son. The other lemmings get upset by that. I don't like this. I looked at the comments. Some people say it's never going to happen, blah, blah. I don't know about that. You in a special time now, son. So many of you across the world have no clue what you are living in right now. If you did, if you knew what I knew. One more time, I gotta say, because I got a bad feeling. When I saw this headline, it's got a bad feeling. Digital ID if you want to work in the United Kingdom. What else is that digital ID going to be used for? The new surveillance system, possibly? Of course it will. Rolex says Trump joked his invite to their private box at the U.S. Open, there's a period after U.S. I thought it was the end of the sentence. Box at the U.S. Open was to get favorable tariff terms for Switzerland, a quip that brought a round of laughter all around. Well, the Rolex wants favorable tariff terms for Rolex. That's what they're really looking for. The broader, of course, they would want for Switzerland, but that's what everyone's doing. And I'm reading you this because that's what everyone's doing. They get the message. If they go to Donnie, do him a favor, give him an envelope, whatever, the tariffs go away for a little while. They get an exemption. That's what Rolex was doing when they invited him over. That's all. Just more evidence of what I say every day. That's all. Breaking: Iran, Russia sign a nuclear deal. Iran has signed a $25 billion agreement with Russia's state nuclear corporation, Rosatom, to build 4 nuclear power plants in Iran, IRNA news agency said on Friday. Donnie just bombed them allegedly to stop their nuclear program. Now they just signed a deal with Russia for nuclear things. And I'm sure they're just power plants, right, son? Right? Of course. Good old-fashioned, nice and clean and safe nuclear power plants, right, son? Doesn't have anything to do with missiles or enriching uranium for the Russians or anything like that, right? Nah. Oh, and I've said this many times over the years when I used to talk about nuke plants, radiation, all that. Because it scares the shit out of me. Because it has the power to end life on this fucking planet, son. Do you understand that? That's how dangerous it is. And it won't end it, nicely. Let's put it that way. The nuclear power industry goes hand in hand with the nuclear weapon industry. There's enriching and things that are going on at these plants. They get material from these plants, radioactive material, to build weapons. Hand in hand, the industries have always been. I personally think there should be no nuclear power plants, because if the grid goes down in any part of the world and these things cannot keep the cores cool, end of life as we know it. If we have a cascade of failures over the course of, a month, 2 months, because there's just no power, there's no way to cool these cores, forget about it. Plan it over. Just wanted you to know that. Sinclair says it's going to bring back Jimmy Kimmel's show to its ABC stations on Friday. Let me say something before I read this. ABC, in some areas of the United States, showed Jimmy Kimmel. In other areas, they didn't because of Sinclair trying to stick to their guns with the Reich. Despite just money being burned by people canceling subscriptions, boycotts, just everything you can think of. It's the only reason Kimmel got his show back. The only reason. There is no other reason. So you people out there that canceled your Hulu and Disney and boycotted and didn't watch, you won. You made your fucking point. You scared the fuck out of these people. It took days for him to get his show back. Not weeks. Days. They put him right the fuck back on. And he didn't even really have to apologize. That's how much money you cost those motherfuckers. Sinclair does it a couple days later because everyone's complaining. They're starting to write down the advertisers for any show that runs in Kimmel's place in their area. People in DC or certain areas were complaining online. You didn't show Kimmel. I'm blaming Sinclair. I'm going to write down every ad I saw for whatever show was on in place of Kimmel and boycott that stuff. My point is, you cost Sinclair, Disney, ABC, you people out there that did what you did, you cost them so much fucking money. You made them bend over backwards to put him back on the air within days. Sinclair and ABC. Two monoliths. You had them scared they about to go bankrupt, son. That's how good of a job you people did. I can tell by how fast they turned their bitch asses around. A shame the public doesn't do more of this. Maybe we'd still have a country. It's too late though, son. I applaud this though. What a victory for everyone. What you people did out there. I didn't have any of these subscriptions. I don't watch television ever. But you people did it. I saw the comments. I saw what you people were doing, organizing. Fucking phenomenal job. You scared the fuck out of these people. So this is what they said, Sinclair. Over the last week, we have received thoughtful feedback from viewers. Before I read this, I am so sick of corporate lies and corporate speak like this. I've seen it my whole life, and it's a whole nother language and attitude. And the Rosetta Stone to decode it all is fucking bullshit, disingenuous insincerity, and you may get a knife in the back at the same time as you're reading. I'll be glad to see that all end. And it will, don't worry. And don't worry, it won't take 20 years. Over the last week, we have received thoughtful feedback from viewers. Yeah, I bet you fucking have. Advertisers, you've received a lot of cancellations too, son, right? Viewers, advertisers, community leaders representing a wide range of perspectives, as if you gave a fuck. Our decision to preempt this program was independent of any government interaction or influence. No, it wasn't. That's a lie. Sinclair said in a statement. So they lied about why they put him back on, and they lied about Donnie not being involved. Of course, Donnie wanted them fired. Colbert and Kimmel. He basically said it in many different posts. Basically told the whole world, yeah, I had something to do with it. First he denied it, then he's like, yeah, it was me. He can't help himself. I'm just very impressed. You people out there that did what you did, you must have cost them an obscene amount of money for them to turn around this quick and bitch out and go against the Reich, have Donnie bitching on social media that Kimmel still has his job. Fucking great job, you people out there who made that happen. It won't save us, but it's a small victory. This is Donnie talking shit on Comey, the guy he's trying to have falsely imprisoned right now, after the Democrats and everyone let Donnie skate for 4 fucking years. Whether you like corrupt James Comey or not, and I can't imagine too many people liking him, he lied. Donnie lies about 97,000 times a day. He's a convicted felon, adjudicated rapist, defamer, fraud, stole 3,000 classified documents. Staged a coup, tried to overthrow this nation and be a dictator, and he's talking about Comey lying. It is not a complex lie. It's a very simple but important one. There is no way he can explain his way out of it. He is a dirty cop, and he always has been. But he was just assigned a crooked Joe Biden appointed judge, so he's off to a very good start. I'm not going to read the rest. Again, the president writing a thesis about the guy he's trying to have falsely imprisoned for nothing. And everyone fucking knows it. 1,260 days of abominations. Alex Jones, I saw this picture for a couple days. I just assumed it was fake. I assumed it was a meme that someone made. I should have known better, son. 2025. The enlightened period, the enlightened age, right? No, this is real. This is real. Not photoshopped. This is where we at, son. Nazi salutes. Nazi mustaches. Alex ain't the first one I seen either. Some young boys out here rocking these. I've seen it. If you read the Huffington Post article, it says that Alex is running a social experiment. Sure, Alex. What's the experiment? You being a white nationalist and a Nazi your whole life? With Soros coming out your mouth every 3 seconds? What's the experiment? Actually living as a white nationalist Nazi? Because that's what you've been doing, son. And you got a $1 billion defamation judgment. How about you pay some of that down? Instead of growing Nazi mustaches, as because it's funny to you. The thing is, Alex is showing you what he really is. Honestly, he's been a white nationalist his whole life. What do you think his platform is? Marge Green's type white nationalism, wrapped in fake Christianity and Nazism. Alex talks about Soros and the Israelis all the time. Marge Green talks about the Israelis all the time. Years before any of this shit. Decades, son. They Nazis. They white nationalists. So what's the goddamn experiment? Actually living as a Nazi white nationalist? You've got to be kidding me. Again, this is 2025. We have grown men of some fame. One, the richest man in the world, does a Nazi salute on Inauguration Day in front of the whole fucking world. This fucking idiot, rocking a Hitler mustache, when he is a Nazi. Who's he think he's fooling? No, it's not. It's not a social experiment. It's what he is. It's what he's always been. Again, that's why Soros comes out his mouth every 3 fucking seconds. Take one more look. Because this fat fuck with the Hitler mustache, he's an enormous symbol for the end of your empire. At least he got rich off it, right, Ropes? $20.25. This is a random commenter. How the Nazis eliminated free speech, the Malicious Practices Act of 1933. Made it a crime to speak out against the government, its leaders. Well, that's fascism. If you can't critique the government, fascism, it's over. We're seeing that now. We're seeing these types of things get proclaimed and made law. Or the Nazi Party, including gossip or jokes. You can't make fun of them. That means comedians go down as well. Neighbors or colleagues could report someone for making a critical remark. Remember, Roops? When I was allowed to broadcast and more of you saw, and I kept doing that act for you, where your neighbor, your son, or your daughter, or your wife calls the Gestapo on you? Remember? Mr. Smith, how you doing tonight? Your son called us and he said you said Donald Trump's a fat fuck. Can you come with us, please? The Enabling Act, 1933, allowed Hitler to punish anyone considered an enemy of the state. You mean like if you label them Antifa or something? Because Antifa doesn't exist. So now they have an enemy of the state. They have several illegal immigrants. Deport them to Rwanda. Who fucking cares? Homeless, round them up. Brian Kilmeade says, kill them. The Treachery Act, 1934, mandated citizens report any and all instances of seditious behavior. You mean if you talk negative about the Reich. That's all of a sudden sedition. Remember, Hitler tried to overthrow his government. They put him in jail for it. So here's another traitor to his nation, telling others that they're traitors if they critique the Reich. Boy, does that sound familiar. Donnie tried to overthrow the government, become a dictator. Now he tells us who is a traitor. And they keep saying all this. What's written here? You can't call us Nazis. You can't make fun of us on late night. We'll get you fired. Eventually, son. It's going there. You ready? Eventually, we gonna grab you and lock you up. Yes, it's gonna go there. All these things that were illegal in Nazi Germany will be illegal here. You're seeing that process roll out now. As fast as they can get away with. They lost on the Jimmy Kimmel thing for now. Won't matter when the Reich just sends people to come get you and lock you up. Won't really matter if people protest. Whatever people do. Be too late, right? Right. Donnie again being interviewed real quick. I guess this is from the golf course or something. I don't know where the fuck he is. That might be a golf course. Or White House departure, okay. Who's the next person on your list in this retribution? I'm glad they phrased it that way. Now it can be used in court. I think there will be others, and that's probably why they phrased it that way. I think there will be others. They are corrupt. These were corrupt, radical left Democrats. They weaponized the DOJ. I hope there will be others. No, Donnie's literally doing all these things. The Rubes and the Reich have been accusing everyone else of doing. His response would be impeachable for any other president, but now it's just Trump being exactly. In normal times, any president said this out loud, that he has a revenge list on your list of retribution. If the president answered that like, oh yeah, I got this person, that person, I'm going to go after him. Impeach the next day. That's what would normally happen. Notice it's not happening here. That's because it's supernatural. And we go into all those places that you don't want to go. And I don't want to go. We going. Thanks to rubery and greed, I'm sorry. I figured greed and I guess stupidity would be the end of everything, the end of this nation. Donnie again, White House departure. I think we have maybe a deal on Gaza. That'll be number 8. Not bad. Well, you know the lie Donnie's been telling for months. He's stopped 7 wars. Miss Levitt tells the lie. Or Skeletor. Donnie's throwing an 8th one on there. Already. He didn't even do it yet. Peace between Gaza, or the Gaza thing, and Israel. That would be the 8th conflict he solved personally. Give him the Nobel. Forget about those 4 boats he just blew up. They're just boats. The National Guard will be starting here Monday. This is the governor of Tennessee, I believe. The authorization has officially been made. Governor Bill Lee and Chief Davis held a joint presser as Trump sends in the military from Fox 13 Memphis. Another city. Is this Governor Bill Lee? I assume he's a Republican. Is he saying, okay, let him bring him in? Your own military being deployed on your streets as a punchline, governors inviting it, all traitors. It's just kind of, when you go that route, you're stepping over the ultimate line of trust between the American people and the government. How many fucking whacked out assholes like Alex Jones have been saying, this person's going to deploy this person, Obama, Clinton's, Hillary, they're all going to deploy the military. They're going to come take our gun. They're going to, nope, you, son, you are the people that were always going to do that. Hence the military in the 4th city now, or 3rd? I can't remember. We're so far gone. Can you believe, back on Inauguration Day with the Nazi salute, me yelling about it, saying all the things that were going to happen? Can you believe we're 4 cities in? Got a bunch of people on the revenge list they're working on and putting in prison. Camps. So Tennessee, Memphis, you will now have the military on your streets. This is all for a later purpose. We can all laugh and make jokes that they're picking up trash and they're wasting our money. They're there for what comes later, son. This was a plan and agenda for a long time. So as we all crack jokes and say how stupid they are and make fun of the military, make fun of them, laying mulch and doing, that's not really what they're there for. They're there for that moment when Donnie needs them. And they'll go along then too. Two moments I can think of is midterms and when Donnie is supposed to leave. Because it's a second term. You rubes believe in the Constitution, right? Oh no, you don't. You just want him to stay forever. You never cared about that piece of paper, right? Except the 2A part. That's a shame because it cost you the empire. So again, troops deployed in a third or fourth city now. Isn't that great? Conservatives, stop calling us Nazis. Also, conservatives. Yeah. It's a big joke. It's a social experiment, right? Right, Alex? Unbelievable. They just don't even hide it anymore. And honestly, what sadist waste of oxygen of a human being would think there's anything glorious about the Nazis or anything they did or what they stood for? And again, if it was such a wonderful movement, why did it end the way it did? Seemed like a lot of the world turned against it. Thought it was evil. And again, son, if those Nazis ended up the way they did and Germany ended up the way it did, oh my God, it was bad. How do you think you're going to end up? How do you think America's going to end up? And if this is what I think it is, how do you think the world's going to end up, son? When them real big battles start happening. When Donnie does a backflip on the Israelis. And all fucking hell breaks loose. I promise you it's coming. These are Nazis. They do not like Jewish people. I don't care what act they're doing for you now. And you know how I know it's an act? This right here. That's what they really believe, son. You know how I know that? He rocking the stash right there and posing. If not fascist, why fascist shaped? Indeed, indeed. Look at it again. I can't believe it, what I'm seeing. And good old Alex would have fit right in with the Reich. He looks really, that stash looks appropriate on him. He would have fit right in. He's been doing his best, Nazi impression for how many decades now? And then he finally revealed, what it's really all been about. And also when he was at the Dugin conference in Moscow as a featured speaker. Yeah, that told me he was down with the Reich. He's been down with all this the whole time. I've always known he's been down with Russia and that whole taking money from them, putting out their propaganda to hurt our country so they can do this. My God, this picture. I'd be ashamed, especially a man of Alex's age. A young man doing shit like this, I get it. They're stupid. They don't know. They don't understand the gravity or the seriousness. When you get older, you know what this is. And you know what it really means. It means Satan, son. It means the ultimate evil. This picture really strikes me. Alex would have fit right in with the Reich. He's doing his best to fit in with this one. And you're in a Reich. You understand that. I'm your guide, right? I'm telling you. You are in a Reich now. They believe in Nazism. If you don't believe me, believe Alex. Alex is looking for a lifeline from this machine. He needs that $1 billion judgment to go away. He owes $1 billion for defamation for being an intentional liar. This is what he's doing with his time. Leon, don't ever forget this. This was the opening to the downfall of America and the entire world right here. Nazi salute on Inauguration Day. Look how just enthused he is with it too. He's so happy. He gets to be co-chancellor, fire everybody, dance around on Special K with a chainsaw. Anytime you have a question about what you're living in, where it's going, what's going to happen, look at this picture again. Remember the salute. Don't worry about the lies, the debaters, the disingenuous, trying to say, oh, that's not what... Don't hear any of it. They've been wasting our time for years. You got to pick a team, son. You either down with this, or are you down with good? Now's the time where everyone has to pick a team. And I'm not talking about Democrat, Republican, little children. I'm talking about the real two teams. God's team and Satan's team. They're the only two teams that ever were. The only real ones anyway. Everyone's going to have to make that choice. That's what I've been trying to tell you for 10 fucking years. That's what this is all leading up to. An imp created by God who has anointed a false prophet named Leon and an antichrist named Donnie to get worship from you, to cost God souls, to be God. And if he can't be God, well, you took the mark, so you're no good to God now. That's been the agenda from day one, despite all the thousands of years of scripture. And real simple. Something that wasn't God wanted to be God. A stupid little imp. That's been worthless since second one. And if that thing can't be God, then it wants to cost God everything if it can. Real simple plan. Again, despite all the angel stories and climbing mountains and sacrifices and killings and pharaohs and miracles and Jesus. Real simple. If I can't be God, I'll destroy God's creation. I'll destroy God's children via the mark. Because I know they're irredeemable after that. Real simple concept. When you reduce it all down, then you know the motivation behind everything. Another bullshit story was put out about FBI agents in the crowd of J6. Donnie posted about it. Here's the thing. Donnie was president on J6. Any FBI moves, top-level cabinet moves, Donnie would have been in charge of that. So if you want to know why any FBI were in the crowd, Rubes, you realize Donnie was president when this FBI was in the crowd, right? And he fired James Comey and McCabe. So Donnie was running the FBI. This story is worthless. If you want to know why any FBI was there or not there or whatever, because I ain't wasting my time with the story with you, ask Donnie Shitbags. He was in charge of the FBI at that time. Nobel Prize Committee announces that Trump has been permanently disqualified from all future awards due to his renaming U.S. Defense Department Department of War. That's the excuse they use. And I read the little description, and that's really the only excuse they run with. They don't mention the 4 boats blown up. They don't mention the bombing of Iran or the bombing of Sudan, I can't remember, the bombing of Yemen, wherever it was. They don't mention any of that. They don't mention the deploying the military on our streets. They decided to pick, he changed the defense to war, so that's not indicative of someone who wants peace or stands for peace, so we'll use that. I have a feeling eventually Donnie's going to get more and more control of the world, and at machine gun point, he'll make them nominate him or something. That's probably eventually where it's going to go. I'm just letting you know. September 25th, Stockholm. In an unprecedented move that has world leader praising the prestigious organization, the Nobel Peace Prize Committee announced today that Trump is permanently disqualified from future awards after his controversial comments in his UN speech on Tuesday, September 23rd, as well as his decision to rename the U.S. Department of Defense the Department of War. Okay, so they're citing comments he made at that UN thing, which were just... He was a fucking madman. So that's 2 excuses. All right. And renaming defense to the Department of War. They're using that too. Which the committee deemed a grave breach of historical gravitas. Fuck. Sorry, I lost the picture. What was it? A grave breach of historical gravitas and semantic decorum. Donnie won't even know what that means. The committee's terse statement issued under embargo until now asserted that the integrity of the Nobel tradition cannot coexist with a willful rebranding of global defense institutions into instruments of infringement, and added that even past laurels remain untouched. But moving forward, no prizes shall be awarded. The decision, the committee said, is final. God, the way that's worded. Yeah, so Donnie's ass out, I guess. They couldn't help themselves after the UN comments. They had to come out and just let Donnie know, yes, we're telling you right now, and the decision's final, we're never giving it to you. We hate you. They couldn't contain themselves. Can you believe this? Has this ever been done? Was the word unprecedented used a few times? In an unprecedented move. This is how despised this motherfucker is. Oh my God. Unprecedented. I guess they've never done that to anyone before. Basically preemptively said, we're promising the entire world, we're letting the world know, and the decision is final, we're never giving that human the Nobel Peace Prize. Can you believe this? I gotta finish this. I've been on too long already. Okay, Donnie's granddaughter. I'm not gonna read all of it. Like clockwork, she turned 18. They immediately got the granddaughter on the grift train, selling $130 sweatshirts using the White House as a backdrop. Yes, they did. There's a whole video, and the White House is the backdrop, and different government things are the backdrop, and her clothing line is being promoted in the video. When I saw all this, I said to myself, well, the grift is tradition in the Trump family, so that this makes sense that his granddaughter would be doing this. But again, using the government thing with it. Donnie's always done that too. To Donnie, it's just, it increases the brand and the value. Put the presidential seal on everything. Just sell the presidency for whatever I can get for it. Same thing here. These are supposed to be our institutions that the taxpayer owns. You people dared talk about Hunter Biden, my God. The Trump family has made billions in grift, and you dare bring up Hunter Biden. Down to the granddaughter who just turned 18. Throwing her right into the grift. This is Ron Filipkowski saying something in his own way that I've kind of said quite a few times. A pattern is developing where everyone who fights back against a Trump attack inevitably wins, with their reputation much better than before. And everyone who caves to him looks like shit, and has Trump coming back for more a month later. I've been saying that to you since before the election. I just said it yesterday. Once a month, he's going to be knocking on your door asking for more. That's what you wise people in the coats and ties with the big bank accounts, that's what you don't understand. You didn't see it because you had dollar signs in your fucking eyes like you always do. He's going to take those dollar signs. He's the beast. You can't leash him. Don't even try. If you cave, we're seeing this again. How many of you has he already been to your door more than once? It's been 8 months. How many? A lot of you. What have you done for me lately? A month is going by. No tribute. Am I not Caesar? Am I not the Don? So yes, the people that stand up to him, they seem to do better. The ones that cave, next month. I know you just gave me $10 million in an envelope last month, but what have you done for me lately? 87% tariffs unless you pay me. Just come, knock on my door. Just make sure you got an envelope. That's what happens when you cave. Many of you have seen it. The tech giants, Sundar, Zuckerberg, all of them, they've been at the table 2-3 times now. You think that didn't cost them each time, son? Of course it did. Just like I said what happened before the election. But they knew better. They knew better, son. I don't know where the fuck this came from. I heard Tony Blair's name get involved with this Gaza shit a little while back. I didn't think it was going to go anywhere. This sounds like a whole new plan. The White House's post-Gaza war plan, post-war Gaza plan, rules out forced displacement and the Gaza Riviera, proposing instead an Arab-led security force. Under the plan, former UK Prime Minister Tony Blair would lead the Gaza International Transitional Authority for a period of 5 years. What the fuck is this? Months and months, we see a commercial Trump Gaza. Donnie says we're going to own Gaza. Donnie says freedom zone. The Israelis say security zone. Bibi and Donnie are on the pool deck in a commercial. The gold Donnie statues. Trump Gaza resort. All the resorts, the little children's hand in hand, money raining from the sky. Leon eating food by himself. What happened to all that? What happened to Jared Kushner getting involved? A big real estate deal's about to happen. No? Now it's Tony Blair and a transitional authority and an Arab-led security force? Is that going to be in exchange for, letting them take that mosque down and putting a temple up? Is that where this is going? One, I'm not believing that there's not going to be any resorts when you got Jared Kushner, Donnie, Bibi, all them involved. I'm not. That sounds like a lie to me. I can't really see them giving an Arab security force the authority there either. I can't see Bibi letting that happen. This is the White House's plan, and you know what this tells me? Based on what I know, it tells me the resort isn't the point of this exercise. The temple is. I already knew that, but I figured they'd build the resorts, put the statues up anyway. Looks like Donnie's trying to make some other deal here. And I just don't know why he would do that. But it tells me, since this is even being floated for 5 seconds by the White House, it tells me what's really important, which I always knew, but now I really know. The temple is the important thing, the real agenda, not the resort. I just can't see him not building a resort, though. Even the Israeli finance minister said, we got to make sure we get our money back for all this cost of war. We did the demolition, time to build. That was the other day, that was said. Now all of a sudden this rolls out. What the fuck is this? I'm not buying as long as Donnie's involved. He's talked about it too many times. Jared Kushner and Bibi, I'm not buying that no resorts are going to be built for profit. That's definitely going to happen. I have a feeling this plan is not going to be the plan, but I wanted to share it with you because it's a totally different direction. And it kind of threw me a little bit. Now again, tomorrow, we keep having these back and forths. Tomorrow, the Riviera plan could be back on. Bibi could say, fuck you to all this. I'm not letting this happen. I know Bibi would not want any Arabs in charge of Gaza. He wants to be, in charge of Gaza. This just really threw me. It's a totally different direction than the commercial. Everything Donnie said, everything Bibi said, they showed us, told us. Guess we'll have to wait and see. That temple will go up, though. I was repeatedly told no new wars. Oh, the reason the person is saying this: U.S. preparing options for military strikes on drug cartels inside Venezuela. Sources NBC News. So, like I said before, the blowing the boat out of the water and then the next three they blow out of the water, that's a pretext for starting shit with Venezuela proper. Why is Venezuela first? Largest oil reserves on the planet. They have 303 billion barrels of oil in reserve. Do you even understand how much oil that is? That's why Venezuela first. They could care about drug boats with a few hundred kilos on them. If that's indeed even what they blew up, I doubt it. They need to get this Reich, these wars started, these seizing other people's territory, seizing other people's assets like oil, just like Hitler did. Same thing. They need to get this rolling. That's what those boats were for. If any of them were drug dealers or drug traffickers, I'd be surprised. That wasn't the point of the exercise. That's not the moral of the story or the moral of the incident. The moral of the incident is we need to start a war with Venezuela so we can take their oil, or put a puppet in charge that's just going to give us their oil. We got world domination, annexation to handle here. We're going to need a lot of fuel. We got a Reich to build. We got a global thing to do. We're going to need a lot of fuel for a lot of military action. So expect war with Venezuela in the near future. Not that they'll be able to put up much of a fight unless they surprise us with something. Who knows? You do have idiots in charge of the military right now. Hegseth. He can make a lot of mistakes. That's someone that's smart could capitalize on, even with a smaller military, smaller force. That's the danger of having idiots in charge who think they're smart. Like Donnie, like Hegseth, like Gabbard, like Bondi. None of them are smart. They're just evil, that's all. Somebody smart, like Vlad, like others, that's a big vulnerability they could exploit. Their stupidity, militarily, world affairs, strategically, they're all idiots. None of them could prosecute a war. Oh no. Not against anyone that's got, the slightest bit of intelligence. A lot of Americans would die. Soldiers. Because of stupid leadership that doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. Be prepared for that. That's coming. Because they're going to come across people that aren't to be fucked with, and that are way smarter than them at some point. In these little jaunts, adventures. And they're going to get caught slipping. Because the leadership is not smart. The leadership is sycophants. The DOJ has issued a subpoena for the travel records of Fani Willis, the Georgia DA who charged Trump in a sweeping election interference case. So now we've got the wheels in motion to put Fani Willis behind bars. We've got the wheels in motion to put Comey behind bars. They're starting an investigation into Soros, so wheels in motion to get him behind bars. Do you believe yet? I told you they were going to go after all the people on the revenge list. It's a revenge tour. They were saying it before the election. We all knew what it was going to be. Now they're doing it. These people committed no crimes, and everyone knows it. What's sad is a percentage of the population doesn't care about that. They're just mad that dear leader had to go to court a few fucking times. sad that you people don't care if a person's guilty or innocent. That's a shame. Gavin Newsom and Rube speak. God, how many more do I have? All right, I'm almost there. This is about Sinclair putting Kimmel back on. Again, Sinclair is the operation that kept Kimmel off some stations, even after ABC put him back on. So, you people did a great job. Cost these cunts a lot of money. Otherwise, they would never have done this. Donnie had a tough week. He fought Kimmel, free speech, escalators, teleprompters, the American people, reality, voices in his head, and a acetaminophen phone. And in the end, Trump lost every fight. Sad but classic. Do not fear Donald. He is just a sheep in wolf's diapers. Damn. Gavin not holding back on a motherfucker. This is Donnie thanking Patel. I'll read some of it. Again, rubbing it in his face. It's not enough he's done to Comey. I'd like to thank Kash Patel and the outstanding members of the FBI for their brilliant work on the recent indictment of the worst FBI director in the history of our country, James Dirty Cop Comey. The level of enthusiasm by the FBI was incredible, but only caused by the fact that they knew Comey for what he is and was, a total slime ball. I'm going to stop there. President of the United States, third grade insults for James Comey, who he fired wrongly, and now he's trying to throw him in prison years later, after he fired him and lied and talked shit about him all these years. Has his utterly weaponized personal lawyers at the Department of Justice going after Comey. Disgusting. Disgusting. Stephen Miller, what James Comey did is truly one of the most severe assaults on our freedoms and liberties that has occurred in the whole history of this nation. I think January 6th was worse. And if we want to go after financiers and people that were a threat to the nation, well, the Publix heiress that owns the Publix grocery stores, she helped finance J6. Ginny Thomas is her name, Clarence Thomas's wife. She helped finance J6. Alex Jones helped finance J6. So if we want to talk financiers and traitors and sedition and conspiracy and financing terror, financing sedition, I just gave you some names. No? Yeah, January 6th, which Stephen Miller was a part of, by the way. That was way worse than anything James Comey ever did. My God. Not even in the same universe. Random commenter. July 1935, German generals were called to a surprise assembly in Berlin and informed that their previous oath to the Constitution was void, and they were required to swear a personal oath to the Fuhrer. Did I read this already? I think I did, but it's good that I'm reading it again. Hegseth, meeting coming up with all the generals. Same thing as Germany. Only reason to do it, son. And we're at the end. Almost. I got 2 pictures after this. Just pictures. And let's look at the picture first before we read this. When I saw this, I laughed my ass off. It's so over the top. It's what you MAGA people and the Russian, internet bots and trolls have been teaching you and showing you and saying, and you've been parroting it. About Donnie, you do these things to Donnie's picture all the time. Because Vlad taught you to. So this is King Gavin. And my God, the fucking the adornment they put on him. So over the fucking top. But they've been doing this with Donnie pictures for 10 years. So King Gavin, now let's read. In Rube speak, of course. Because this is the apocalypse, son. The king just finished a tremendous trip to New York City for the United Nations General Assembly, World leaders lined up blocks long to meet me. Gavin C. Newsom, the real leader of America. Dozy Don was very rude to them. He said your countries are going to hell. Not nice, Mr. President. I won't say who, but many after told me privately, sir, the United Nations would like to rename NYC to Newsom, York City. I didn't read this. To Newsom, York City in your honor. I am very humble and not braggadocious, but I do deserve this. And so we will rename New York City soon. Everybody loves the idea. A great honor. Thank you for your attention to this matter, GCN. And again, he put this picture with it. And it's a shame, you know. This would be a lot funnier if it wasn't the apocalypse and our empire wasn't dying. It's a shame. I'm glad somebody's doing it, though. Someone has to mock this shit that's been going on for 10 years. And it was all totally incited by Russian agents. You understand that, right? You idiots out there that emulated all this behavior. They taught you what to do with the dumbass memes and putting Donnie's head on Rambo's body. This is the type of shit they do with strong men. Do you understand that? That's where the concepts came from. Lionizing a dictator. That's the playbook Russia used on you fucking idiots. And you know who I'm talking to. When you started making your dumbass memes here in America with Donnie's head on Rambo's body, that's what they would do with Putin in Russia. Or Kim Jong or whatever. That's how the paid, information spreaders for the Reich, whatever country you're talking about, lionize the dictator to the populace. That's what the KGB taught your dumbasses. That's how I know it came from the KGB. From that line of thinking. From dictatorship. That's what they do in dictator. They elevate the dictator to godlike status. In any way they can. That's what Gavin is mocking here. And we'll end with this. 4 sets of eyes. Each a different category. Take a look. The top set of eyes. Those are alcohol eyes. Someone that has drank alcohol. The second set of eyes. Someone who has smoked weed. The third set of eyes. Someone who has done cocaine. The fourth set of eyes. Someone who's lying about Epstein. Those eyes should look familiar as they kind of cross. This is brilliant, whoever made it, in my opinion. I wasn't expecting the ending. That's always good. So yeah, the people that promised the Epstein files are literally the ones hiding them from you. They literally got 1,000 FBI agents to redact Donnie's name. We saw the birthday letter. We know what that letter was about. Hence the young girl's body drawn around the letter. So we know what Donnie was talking about, Roops. That are going to make the disingenuous arguments like you've been doing for 10 years. I've been listening to it. Watching person after person fall. Even people I thought never would. Even people I thought that were above it. Boy, was I wrong. So, in a lot of ways, I feel like I'm in a movie. either a zombie movie and one of the terrifying ones, like the one with Ving Rhames that starts off with a nurse girl from the hospital, where all of a sudden the people that you trusted most are coming to kill you or have become something else. Like a movie where, aliens are taking over people's bodies. And it could be your wife, your husband, your brother, your sister, your mother, your father. All of a sudden, there's something else. And they're gone. That's what I feel like I'm living in. But it's real. And I watch person after person fall. That's how I know, most likely, most will go along. The good book kind of says that, but then it also has a statement by Jesus Christ where he says, I saved all but the son of perdition. What's that mean? All, I wonder. Anyway, when the mark comes, and it will come, all three components are already there, and we've already had RFK say he wants us all wearing wearables within 4 years. The Reich will not end after Donnie's term. He will stay in power if he lives that long. So don't expect him to leave. The 3.5-year time frame from the time he got in office that I was thinking at the beginning of this, then he wouldn't even finish the term and this would all be over and a lot of bad things would have happened in between. So who knows? All I know is the components are there, and I know it ain't going to take no 20 years or even 10. It will be unveiled long before then. The currency with the number on it. The image, which will be the Altman AI built for Donnie. I assume. And the mark, I'm not sure what that will be. Will it be the wearable that RFK is talking about? Will it be some digital ID thing? I don't know. The story talks about the mark being on the right hand or on the forehead or in the right hand or in the forehead, depending on what translation you are looking at. I wonder if it could be in and on, in your hand, on your forehead. Who knows? Depends on translation. So all three components, again, the mark could be one of any technologies. RFID tattoo, RFID watch, RFID anything. Little chip, microchip they put in between the thumb and forefinger. There are already humans with that. Many of your pets have that. So the mark could be anything. Already technology, whatever they pick. The currency, Donnie coin. The image, the Altman AI. That's my guess. They will ask you to worship the image. Why the image? I wonder. Why not the beast himself? Or do they ask the beast? Does the beast ask for worship himself? I have to look at that again. I guess I keep hoping, or not hoping, I just have this feeling that if he died, that be the reason to create the AI and really give it his personality and keep this whole thing going. But again, the story says they live till the end. So I don't think that's going to happen. So they'll create the image anyway. Maybe he becomes incapacitated, an almost vegetable, but he's still alive. Interesting. When the mark comes, you cannot take it. No matter what. I gotta go. Until the next episode, I hope you have a wonderful evening. I'll throw the PayPal up at the top of the comment section if I remember in 9 hours when this uploads. Have a wonderful evening.